Morning. I hope you are doing well. Today is Sunday for me. It's the 18th of February. It's about 3:30 in the afternoon. This is my cat, Bo. He's helping me do the video today. And today I wanted to just kind of touch base a little bit. Last week, I did quite a big in-depth dive into what the principles are. Uh, Mind, thought, and consciousness, mind, consciousness, and thought, aliveness, awareness, and creativity, however you want to look at them. And you can go back and watch that video if you want. It was my best shot at it. And then I said at the end of the video, I was going to talk about the implications of having an understanding of how the mind works. And that's kind of what I want to touch on today. And what I really want to do is just share a story from a group that I was in yesterday. And I think that it really sums up my goal, how I want to come across helping people to understand this understanding. It almost seems redundant to say that, doesn't it? Anyway, so I'm in this group, and one of the people in that group is having an issue with one of her family members, and this family member has a tendency to have some, up and down mood swings. And when this person gets into a really low mood, life looks really dark. And I think any one of us can understand that. Um, and if you go back to the video that explains about the principles, it makes perfect sense to consider that we are always feeling our thinking. And no matter what mood we're in, be it high mood or low mood, the thinking that comes in that particular mood is going to be representative of the mood. So if you're in a low mood, the thinking that comes through and occurs to you is going to be representative of kind of a crappy mood. And because we feel our thinking, we're going to feel that thinking, and it's going to feel real, and it's going to feel like we're stuck and nothing's ever going to get better. And this person in the group said something very interesting to me. She said, I decided to try something you've been talking about. She said it was really counterintuitive, but I thought I would try it. And we were in a conversation, and it wasn't going anywhere. I was trying to fix the situation, and my family member didn't want to be fixed, and it became this kind of tug of war situation. And I always think of, if you're standing in front of somebody and you both have your hands up, and if you were standing in front of me and you had your hands against my hands, if I pushed, chances are you'd push back. It's just kind of ingrained into us to push back. And so it makes sense. If she's kind of in a low mood, he's kind of in her family member's kind of in a low mood. She's trying to fix him. He doesn't want to be fixed. It's just this back and forth kind of thing. And so she said, well, I decided to just say, you know what, I'm going for a hike. Do you want to go with me? And yeah, okay, I'll go with you. And she said it was really fascinating because once we got out onto the hike, this family member became a different person. The mood lightened up, and they were excited about life coming up and ideas and opportunities. And it's like a totally different person. And I said, well, that makes total sense to me, because when the focus changes, the mood comes up, and the thinking that gets associated with that mood is different than a low mood, you know? And so there's a saying that I hear, which is all boats rise with the tide. And I said, when you're talking to somebody and you're in both in low moods and you're kind of butting heads, if you just come up a little bit and you don't stoop down to their level, as it were, then they'll join you. It's nothing you're doing to make that happen. You're not trying to pull them up the hill. You're just going out for a hike. The mood is lightening, and everybody just feels better. It makes total sense to me. And so she's like, well, how do I explain that to my family member? How do I teach them what you're teaching me? And so I said, well, how do I teach you? Like, how do I do that? And she kind of gave a few explanations, and then she stopped and she said, I don't know. How do you teach me? And I said, well, look, this is this is what I do my best to do. Am I successful at it all the time? No. But I do my best to listen and listen from a very quiet place. Quiet meaning I'm not up here judging what you're telling me or trying to diagnose you or fix you or change you or think, okay, I know exactly what she needs to do here. I'm actually doing my best to ignore all of that, which is going on, by the way, and just be more settled and wait for something to occur to me. And sometimes what occurs to me is a question. Maybe I'll ask a question, or maybe I'll ask if I can share a story, or maybe I'll share something that's been helpful for me, or maybe I'll actually teach something because I feel like something's missing. And sometimes that resonates and sometimes it doesn't. And as I explained, no matter what I share with anybody, it's not on me to teach you so that you learn in the traditional school sort of way. It's that I'm offering something and you're making the decision to check it out or not. You know, if you go back to the story, she said, I decided to try the thing you've been telling me that seemed counterintuitive. And I thought, I'll just try it. And I was blown away that it actually worked. Now, again, I don't know if I said this to begin with, but she said, when she said, let's go for a hike, it was with no intention. There was no um, ulterior motive. It was just, I need to get out of the house. Do you want to go with me? She said, but as we started hiking and as his focus changed and as his mood went up and my mood up, I went up. She said, I noticed that, holy shit, this works, right? So it wasn't that she had the intention of trying something. It's that in the process of just living her life, she noticed that when the mood goes up, the focus changes and the attitude and the thinking changes. And that's important because this is not trying to make make thought change. This is not taking the content of your thinking and then saying, let's reframe it, reform it, let's come up with another way to think about it. No, it's literally just changing the focus. And again, not as a technique, but just as a, okay, I'm done with this. I'm moving on. Let's try something else. And what I said to her was, I said, you could think of it this way. If you think about going to a buffet and you go to a buffet, there's all kinds of food there. And usually there's a server. And I used to work for a place called Silver Platter, and I was a server for buffets and banquets. And then for a while I did bartending, which is, beside the point, but it's something that I have in my repertoire. So I can imagine myself behind the table of this big buffet. And you, the person on the other side of this video, or this person I was talking to, comes to the front of the buffet and says, oh, I'd like to try this. I want to try that. Oh, I don't like the way that looks. Oh, I want to try this. This looks kind of interesting. Maybe I'll try that. And I'm behind the table, not caring one way or the other what you take. I don't care. I'm saying, here's the offerings. You take and try what you want and see how it works for you. If you like it, great. If you want more, come back for it. If you didn't like it, don't take another one. Totally cool. I have nothing on it either way. I'm just doing my best on my side of the table, my side of the room, my side of the video camera. This is going to sound weird to say, but to listen as quietly as I can so that something occurs to me to share with you. Now, this is one of the implications of these principles that I'm doing my best to share with people, because as I explained to her, it's about your inner wisdom, right? For whatever reason, in that moment, it occurred to her to go for a hike. As she started to notice that things were changing, she had a little aha moment, little epiphany. And that little epiphany will do something for her in the long run. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, which is kind of the cool part. But I said, one of the things about, being that server behind the buffet and just offering up whatever occurs to me to offer up from a place of listening really well is that if you think about babies, right? Babies come into the world knowing how to eat, knowing how to poop, knowing how to get your attention, knowing, when they're tired, they get cranky, knowing how to, engage with the adults, even though they have no learned social skills. And we didn't teach them any of that. They came preloaded with that wisdom. And I was telling her, I said, I was listening to one of my mentors talk about her brother recently had a baby. And she said, this baby comes into this world with all this wisdom. And she said, and I'm listening to her parents tell her 1,000 different ways how they know better. And as this little one grows up, she's going to grow up believing that her parents know better than she does, and then maybe her friends, and then maybe her teachers. And at some point, she's going to lose that connection with her own inner wisdom if someone doesn't foster that for her. And so, what I see in the world and what I've seen in myself, and what I'm just kind of noticing through stumbling around, well, people are showing me. I'm not just literally stumbling around, but in my own way, in my own mind, in my own thinking, I'm testing, I'm playing, I'm discovering my own wisdom, my own peace of mind, my own quiet. And when I'm in touch with that, things happen, things are created. And it's no different for you, the other person on the other side of this video camera. It's no different than the people that are in the groups with me. As I said to the woman in my group, my goal really is to wake you back up to your own wisdom, right? So we all start out as these babies who have tons of wisdom. We come preloaded with this wisdom. Over time, we kind of get away from it and lose touch with it. And I think when we get to that point where we start to be on these self-discovery journeys or trying to figure out who we are, we're looking for that wisdom again. We innocently look for it outside of ourselves. We look for a teacher or a book or a video or something to give it to us because we don't realize that we always had it. We've just been out of touch. And yet, if someone were to say to you, hey, think of a time when you were, an idea came to you out of the blue, you could probably come up with one. Now, it's possible nobody ever said to you, hey, that's your inner wisdom at work. But that's what I want to tell you. That's your inner wisdom at work. Every time that happened throughout your life, and I'll bet it happened a lot of times, me too, when you look in hindsight, you can see all these things added up. And you realize, oh, I got from point A to point B because there was wisdom in there. There were times I listened to other people and I kind of got off track, but eventually I made my way back because I did really, truly have an inner wisdom and I did listen to it. And that's a beautiful thing. That is a cool thing. So, yeah, that was a long roundabout way to tell that story. Hopefully it made some sense with you or for you. But at the end of the day, that's really what I'm looking to do for anybody. I'm looking to help you wake up to your inner wisdom that you have hiding inside you, or not hiding inside you, but just maybe you can't see it because it's there. And I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to look, I want you to see, I want you to play, I want you to do what this other client did and just get curious and notice, hey, when I get a quiet mind, ideas come to me. Hey, when I'm having an argument with somebody and then I just change focus, attitudes change, moods change, things change, and it's okay. Whatever the case is, whatever that you're seeing for yourself. And what I would really love you to do, if you can, is to make time to come on Wednesday night. This Wednesday night, I'm going to do the monthly Q&A. Going to start at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Zoom. And if you have any questions about any of the videos that you've seen so far, any of the emails or anything like that, or you've had an insight you want to share, something that's been an aha moment for you, that would be cool. We do that a lot in our groups, and it's super helpful for people to share their insights because other people get to see that, oh, I had that insight too. Or maybe I didn't have that insight, but I had another insight. Maybe we can share, compare notes, as it were. Anyway, I'd love to see you. I will include last week's video link in this email just in case you didn't get to watch it. And you will be receiving reminders this week for Wednesday night's Q&A session at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Other than that, my friend, I hope you have a fantastic week. I hope you are noticing something, anything, how your thinking works. Noticing maybe you're in a calmer place. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear about it. And I would love to see you. Other than that, I will talk to you soon. Have a fantastic week. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.